You know what fascinates me about religious transformation? Sometimes the most profound changes happen in secret, like this powerful story of a respected religious leader sneaking through the darkness to meet Jesus, completely unaware his late night conversation would be studied for millennia.
That's really intriguing. What drew you to focus on this particular nighttime encounter between Jesus and Nicodemus?
Well, here's this highly educated Pharisee, a member of the ruling Sanhedrin Council, who could have easily dismissed Jesus like his peers. Instead, he risks his reputation for this clandestine meeting. And what happens? Jesus completely upends his theological framework in the first few minutes.
Hmm. It's fascinating how Jesus bypasses all the formal pleasantries and goes straight to this radical concept of being born again. Must have been jarring for someone so steeped in religious tradition.
Oh, exactly. And you know what's really clever about this encounter? The symbolism of light and darkness. Here's Nicodemus, literally stepping out of the shadows to meet the light of the world, while metaphorically still dwelling in spiritual darkness. John's gospel uses this imagery throughout.
That's such a powerful observation about the darkness theme. And it becomes even more significant when Jesus later discusses how people often prefer darkness to light because they don't want their actions exposed.
And then there's this brilliant moment where Jesus references the bronze serpent story, something every Jewish scholar would know by heart. He's essentially saying, just as Moses lifted up that serpent to heal people physically, I'll be lifted up to heal people spiritually. The parallel is perfect for someone like Nicodemus.
Well, that connection really shows Jesus' teaching genius, meeting Nicodemus where he is intellectually while revealing something completely new.
You know what's particularly striking? This complex theological discussion leads right into John 3:16, possibly the most quoted verse in history. It's like Jesus is saying, let me break down everything we've been discussing into its simplest form. God's love expressed through his Son.
That transition from deep concepts to such a clear statement really demonstrates how the most profound truths can be expressed simply.
And speaking of transitions, the contrast between Nicodemus and John the Baptist later in the chapter is fascinating. While Nicodemus wrestles with understanding, John the Baptist shows this remarkable clarity about his role, saying, he must become greater, I must become less.
That level of humility from John the Baptist is pretty remarkable, especially given his own following and influence at the time.
Right. And what's really encouraging is how we see Nicodemus's faith journey unfold. This nighttime meeting is just the beginning. Later, he defends Jesus before the Sanhedrin and finally helps with Jesus' burial, bringing an enormous amount of expensive burial spices, like he's finally ready to be publicly identified with Jesus.
So it really shows how faith often develops gradually through various stages of understanding and commitment, rather than in one dramatic moment.
And you know what makes this story so relevant today? Whether you're a religious scholar like Nicodemus or someone with no religious background at all, the core message remains the same. Everyone needs this spiritual rebirth, regardless of their credentials or achievements.
That universal application really does transcend time and culture, doesn't it? The human condition hasn't changed much in 2,000 years.
Like that beautiful moment where Jesus compares the Spirit to the wind. You can't see it, but you can see its effects. It's acknowledging that while we can't fully explain spiritual transformation, we can certainly recognize its reality in people's lives.
Well, that's a powerful way to wrap up our discussion. Some mysteries don't need to be fully explained to be profoundly true.